Hey guys, what's going on? John Haddock from Think About Comics, joined by
Bethea. What's going on?
So today we're going to be talking about Wonder Woman, Dead Earth from the Black Label, Book 1.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
It's a good book. It's a good book. Good book. So certain parts of it I was upset about, but
What were you upset about?
Well, it looked like my boy Batman died, maybe saving her. And I ain't ready for that. I need the dude that can think up everything, save both of them.
Yeah.
And then I ain't like what they did to my girl Cheetah. Po Cheetah. She got a cheetah hand. That's hand cheetah. That's crazy. But other than that, the apocalyptic feel was nice. People finding her, and she having memory loss, and some of her powers, I guess, are subsided right now, or maybe because she's just getting up, she's weak, so she can't do what she need to do, and she didn't have a bracelet. So, but she took my man back belt, so I was good with that, yo. I was good. It was a good show. It was good.
I really like this book. I like the art. I love the action, how the panels flowed.
Yeah.
What this book actually reminded me a lot of was, I'm pretty sure I've never played this, the Mega Man Zero games.
No.
So basically, it takes place after the X series, like 100 years later or whatever, and Zero's in like a chamber. These resistant fighters get chased down into a pit. They resurrect Zero on accident. He comes back. He has no memory, and he's weaker than what he was before. Okay. And he helps the resistance people fight off these this new army of evil Reploids and stuff. Not in the same thing, but I really like that. I loved that story.
Yeah.
And I got that feel, at least in the beginning of this book. Yeah. I loved the whole Conan the Barbarian, Red Sonja feel to it with the absolute, carnage violence when she's, fighting these monsters. I thought it was my pick of the week. I really enjoyed this book. I read it twice. I think this is the best Black Label book that's been out. I think it's better than the Question book that we said was really good from the Black Label. I'm definitely going to be following this series.
Okay. Well, that Question book was nice.
I think they're two different books, though.
Yeah,
I really like the violence in this. Yeah. The Question, I think, has the best. Let me say this: the Question book has the better story.
Okay, yeah,
it's definitely more drawn out, and it's a better character development book. Yeah. This is your Mad Max, high octane,
this was deep.
Barbarian action.
You know what? One scene in here that I think is just a classic scene is when they bring her in front of the ruler.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you gonna be my new wife." She got up and grabbed him by the throat. That was beautiful. I love that, yo.
Yeah. Great book. Do you have anything else you want to
add? I mean, this is a must read. This is a must read for the Black Label. This is a must read. But there's quite a few books coming out for the Black Label. So what my problem is I'm starting to see a flow now with these alternate realities where the stories are better than the continuity story.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm really getting irritated about that. That is irritating. I can't stand that. You get these great writers and you say, all right, well, let's put great stories together. And it's like now, this book shouldn't outshine Justice League.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely. I think you said it best earlier when we were talking. A lot of books are getting written to trade. This is going to come out on hardcover probably 2 weeks after it wraps up. I definitely think that these books are better because they're not tied down to the soap opera feel of the continuity books. And that's something that I think DC needs to really look at to say, hey, look, do we want to, because I'm cool with if they just give us these Elseworld stories, maybe, look at the continuity and say, hey, look, we want to just slow this down. Mm-hmm. I know their big rumor is that they're going to replace most of the main characters and give us new versions of Batman, Flash, Superman, etc. But if we want to read about, Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne, we're going to have to be getting these premium format books. I don't know how I feel about that. It's kind of I'm kind of on the fence because, I'm not excited for those continuity books. like the main ones. As much as I like I said, I mainly get them because of the nostalgia feel.
Yeah.
But when I saw this coming out, I got hyped up for it, and I got it, and it lived up to its potential. I feel like if you're gonna keep giving me products like this, I have no problem giving up on. Like you look at one. I haven't read Wonder Woman's main continuity book. Are you reading it?
No.
Yeah, so I can't really say what the difference is, but I finally got the last of Batman Damned 3 came out yesterday. I haven't read it because I was waiting for this one to come out. I'm going to read 1, 2, and 3 all at once. Batman Damned, the art was fantastic, but the storyline, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Superman Year One was, it was its own thing. I think it was a different take on Superman. He joins the Navy and that. But if you're going to give me content like this, I could see myself getting just stop doing the continuity books and just going towards these.
See, and that's I feel we can't do that. Like I was reading Wonder Woman, and then I stopped because I had gotten a bunch of back issues. So it's like I wanted to catch up and then come back because it was so lost in her story. So, but the thing is, the continuity has to be there because this is why we get these comic books. We get these comic books to show what is going on and how these heroes come together, and then when they're solo, what they do on their solo missions. The purpose of these books is to have some kind of continuity. This is why they've been so successful. Okay, you keep giving me a bunch of one shots of different versions of the superhero, then I get lost in what superhero I like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You push so much to get a feel for a character, and once you destroy that feel, you pretty much kill that character. Case in point, I love Captain America. Okay, I love Captain America. Now, the way Marvel retconned him as being an agent of Hydra, during that continuity where he was an agent of Hydra, he did some good crossovers with the X-Men that I liked. Now I look at him different. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That wasn't my Cap. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, what?
Well, do you?
You get that wasn't my Cap.
I think what you're. I get what you're saying, and I agree with you to an extent. Like I really do. I think that problem happened when you look at something like Batman Returns. I think when you have Batman Returns, or was it The Dark Knight Strikes Back? Those books. People want to say this is the Batman I like the best. Yeah. And I think in the movies, Nolan tried to recapture that character. They basically did it with the Ben Affleck Batman. Yeah. So it's like, okay, if you were to pick up the Batman continuity book, you'd be like, this isn't the Batman on TV. Yeah. The one in these trades, that's the Batman that's on TV. Yeah. I do think that if you're looking at like a business standpoint, when you're selling, if you're not selling the continuity books, like Tom King, like look, me and you both dropped off of Tom King, at least I did, for the Batman thing. I wasn't impressed, but yet I still bought the Batman Who Damned, the Last Night on Earth, because they're saying, hey, look, this is the HBO of comics. Yeah. That's how they're presenting that, and so far, either whether they're hit or miss, they still are the HBO of comics. So it's like I feel like I'm getting more than the regular stuff. I think we're going to see these kind of books take over the market.
And what I'm saying is that's how you lose your base. And
how so?
Well, here's the deal. If I am looking to find out if I'm a Batman reader or like I'm an X-Men reader, and you keep shifting and going into a direction where I'm not comfortable with the X-Men, then I drop off. Now, it's going to take you having to bring them back to center for me to come back. And here's the thing, which is, I think the issue. They're not getting these books to kids anymore.
No.
Okay, these comics now, even the main continuity, are being written for teenagers and adults. Okay, that's what they're being written for real.
Yeah.
So here's the deal: as an adult, I can say, "Hey, I don't like this no more. Walk away." Because I got independent titles now that can match these, and they got to
match them, but just destroy what
DC
and Marvel are
Hey,
doing.
look, wait a minute. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
When I read the children, Something's Killing the Children, Darkness in Space. I think that's the name of the title. God, there's quite a few of them. But they're independent books. They got continuity, and they rolling. And I'm in it. I'm there. Yeah. And if you can't keep up, you will get replaced.
And I think a lot of the independents aren't made for kids though. I mean, those books that you named for independents, they're not made for kids.
Yeah, but nor are these.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if you're looking at like what's not made for kids, yeah. I'd rather read the independent than this. But if you're giving me this Black Label stuff, I'm gonna get this and that, because if I like, I think with Marvel and DC, you have characters that span almost 100 years.
Yes.
Of history.
Yes.
With that book, that Wonder Woman book, I haven't read a Wonder Woman book in forever. Mm-hmm. And the last time I read a Wonder Woman book, before I bought the John Byrne Deluxe Edition, was like 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. I picked this up and loved it.
Yeah.
That's what I think they want to go for. Instead of, how many people dropped off of Batman because they didn't like it? A lot. Like, Batman's sales numbers went down hugely. If you look at these books, say we come out with 2 or 3 of them, now you're giving me 3 different stories that I can jump into them without any prior knowledge of this entire lore and get this feel of it. And I feel like I'm reading something that's a premium format, not a comic book, because it's this HBO style of writing. Yeah. That's where I think the Black Label will succeed, because this past week I read, was it Dying is Easy? Yeah. It's a stand-up cop thing. It was a fantastic book. It treated me like an adult. Yeah. Had adult themes. Hellblazer, same thing. Yeah. I mean, what else? Wellington. Yeah. It was kind of a slow build read, but it has a very intriguing plot, and the last issue was a huge bombshell. I mean, the biggest books aren't made for kids, and the biggest books don't really have a whole lot of continuity, like years of continuity behind them. I mean, when Saga was fully rolling, I think they're still on issue, 55 or something like that? Okay. So those books are huge. I mean, Walking Dead at its peak was huge, and there's only, 150 issues of that, if that?
But it was huge. I mean, it was huge before the show, but the show propelled it.
Yeah.
The issue that I'm having is, all right, if you're building this product now for teens and adults only, and what's happening is now we're going digital. What's going to happen is they're going to say, all right, we'll just get the digital content, because kids, if they're not being subjected and pushed into buying comic books, like their parents aren't taking them to shops or saying, hey, you do this, the kids are going to go for the fastest thing, and that's their phone. So what's going to happen? So now you saying, okay, now these content for these comic books are now going to decline even more, because you're not going to be able to push more comic books out because they won't sell. The thing about comics is, I got 100 years of a character, and I start you off young with cartoons and small little action books and coloring books, and I bring you along to this next comic book, then I bring you along to a older version of the comic book, and that's how I grow you. I'm trying to grow you, okay? And my problem is, right now, it's like they've given up. And, well, not giving up, but they're not trying to grow. They're not trying to grow. They're like, all right, well, we'll just concentrate. Nah.
I mean, I think this is a way for them to grow.
Okay.
I think Black Label is a good way for them to grow. I think you're going to reach a bigger audience with these. When I look at Black Label, I mean, let's look at this. This doesn't scream comic book to me.
No.
It's a bigger format.
Yeah.
It looks a lot more presentable. It's DC Black Label.
Yeah.
It looks like an actual book that I would put on my shelf. I flip it over. I see ages 17 and up. I have my own a blurb here that just gives me a highlight of the story, and I open it up. I'm seeing a lot of like art that's grabbing my attention. Yes. I'm seeing maybe not a whole lot of dialogue in this book, but this book isn't going to be a dialogue book. It's going to be your action carnage book. And right off the bat, we're getting if I was to flip through here, what's the first thing I see? I see that, and then I see an atomic bomb being dropped. Yeah. Like, okay, I'm getting pulled into this book based on that. Yeah. I think these are their attempt of bringing in new readers. I think the Black Label is definitely a way for growth, and I think if it's done right and they keep pushing these titles and getting a response. I mean, I'll say growth because the very first issue of Batman Damned, we saw Batman's penis, and that got major news. Yeah. So right then and there, you've already reached the market. Yeah. Controversy creates cash.
Yeah, controversy creates cash. And, saw Batman's penis.
Yeah, and everyone looks at the Black Label and says, that's not for kids. I might be into it because I'm not going to be treated like a kid. Yeah. And every Black Label book I've read that's good or bad doesn't treat you like a kid. Yeah. It treats you like an adult, like any HBO show does. I think that's where you grow your characters. As far as digital, I don't see comic books. I mean, comic books are digital now. I don't see them taking over the market in digital because if you have a digital book, what's that worth? If I have this and I go to sell this to you, even if it's a nickel, I still have a nickel. What do you have? Nothing. And if you do digital, whenever you own something like that, you're accessing it off their server. Yeah. So if they lose the rights, there's a guy I know, he likes what's that guy's name? The character, he's like old school pop. He's a pulp hero. He's like a Race Bannon almost. I can't remember his name. I think he's with Dynamite now or Valiant. Okay. But his ownership switches. But when Marvel lost it, they never renewed the license. So he had all his issues on there on the phone. Yeah. When they didn't renew the license, he lost like $120 some worth of stuff, just like that. Yeah. Doc Savage, or whatever his name is.
Well, I mean, I agree with that. What's the digital stuff? I can't sell that again, or I can't do anything because I don't have a physical copy. But I mean, I used to say that about CDs. Now you can stream everything. Yeah. When I get service, I see it. I listen to all the music now. I want to download it. I mean, it's just...
But CDs don't have like a collectible feel to them. Yeah. They're mass produced. Right. These have a collectible feel to them, though.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Do you want to sign us off?
Hey, look. Thank y'all for coming out today. You didn't have to, but show to them. For that, I appreciate you. Now, I need you to support your local comic book shops. Hey, yo, they need us. All right? And please be safe tonight. Peace.